So have you ever heard the saying, when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody? It is very true from my experience, and I had to learn that business lesson the hard way. And I'm so excited to be able to share with you today in today's video around defining your ideal client, all of the lessons that I've learned along the way, and how to do this for yourself so you can have a business that's thriving, filled with ideal customers for yourself. So that's what today's video is going to be all about, and it's part of a bigger series around a one-page business plan and how to use the one-page business plan so you'll actually use it. It won't just be another document on your desktop or on your desk collecting dust. So welcome, and if you haven't watched the rest of the videos in this series, please go do so. And if you're new here, welcome as well. My name is Kristin Constable, and I'm a leadership and business coach to values-driven entrepreneurs who want to lead wildly successful, values-driven businesses and live rich and fulfilling values-driven lives. And I'm a big believer that you can and you should have both. So that's what this channel is all about, creating weekly videos to support you in doing just that. So there is no shortage out there of exercises and processes to find your ideal customer or client, but it did take me a while to find a process that actually worked for me and didn't leave me more frustrated and confused at the end of it. So that is where I want to take you today, is giving you this process that will go beyond these demographics like age, gender, location, which can feel really confining when creating your ideal client. Instead, we're going to deep dive into some pieces around your ideal client that are way more informative and actually more important. So after working through this for myself and my own business, and now I've worked with lots of different businesses and clients around the same stuff, I can 100% say that when you get this piece, it will change the game for you. You will be able to know who you're talking to, and it'll be so easy to write things like website copy or promotional materials because you'll know who you're talking to. So that is where we're going. If you're in, make sure that you've downloaded that one-page business plan. The link to it is in the notes for this video, and then let's get rolling. Okay, so let's just take a moment to actually define what an ideal client or customer, I'll use those terms interchangeably, avatar is. So your ideal customer avatar, sometimes you'll even see that shortened as ICA. So what is it? So this ICA is the one person that represents your ideal target market, demographic, or person. And it's different than just saying target market, because target market is an entire market. This is one person that you either create, it can be fictional, or it can be someone that you actually know. And it's really important, I get asked this all the time, does it have to be one person? And I know it can feel restricting and hard to get it down to this one person, but through this process, I'll show you how you can do that. And it is actually very important that you do just have one. So let's talk about why that actually is important and why it's important now more than ever. So now more than ever, there are more products, services, offers out there on the market. Anybody and everybody can be a business owner and can promote their products and services through things like Facebook, Instagram. And because of that, as consumers, we're getting more and more sensitive and needing to create basically, response mechanisms to all of this information that's coming in. So what we're doing is we're creating filters, and unless a message that we deem the message is directly related to us, our needs, our problems, and it offers a solution to our problems, we're gonna tune it out. So often what happens is we cast the net too wide. We get scared about niching down and getting really specific about who it is that we're serving and what exactly this person is all about. But when we do this, we tune everybody out. So the idea around creating this one customer avatar that is this one person that defines your ideal person that you want to serve is that you will turn certain people off. And that is a good thing, because when you turn people off, you turn other people on, and that's exactly what you want to be doing. So take a moment to check in with yourself here to see, do you know who it is that you want to be serving? Just a general question to get us started. Who is it that you're committed or inspired or passionate about serving? If you know the answer to that question, awesome, stick with me. We're gonna dive even deeper. And if you don't know the answer to that question yet, do not worry. This next part of the process will actually help you reverse engineer that and get clear on who this person is. All right, so let's get into those questions. Okay, so building out your ICA, your ideal client avatar. So let's make a distinction here between straight demographics and psychological demographics. So straight demographics are often what people talk about when we're dealing with ideal client or customer avatars. So it's things like age, gender, demographics, like location, things like that. Now, those are fine, but they're pretty general. And actually, we need to communicate with people more specifically than that. It can't just be women aged 25 to 35 who live in Vancouver. That net is way too wide. So what we actually need to do, which is way more helpful, and I think it's actually easier, is get into the heads of our ideal clients. So we're actually going to use psychological demographics to build out our ideal client avatar. We're going to let go of, for the time being anyways, things like gender and age and location, and we're going to reverse engineer what those things might be. So how do we go about getting these psychological demographics? We're gonna tune into their values, their motivations, their belief systems, and we're gonna do that by asking some specific questions. So the questions that I want you to explore, and some of these are on the one-page business plan, so if you've downloaded that, you can get them there, but here's them and a few others. So the first question to explore is, how do they wanna feel? How does your ideal client, regardless of who they are, how do they wanna feel? What are they passionate about? What are their fears and what problems are they trying to solve? What are their goals and their aspirations? What's important to them? And what brands or people do they follow? These are really informative questions to start exploring when you're looking at your ideal client avatar. I love the question, what brands and people do they follow? Because what you can actually do, if you can hone in on that, is you can go find actual people that are your ideal client. So take some time to go through those questions, brainstorm all of them, and then look at the data that you have and reverse engineer who this person is. This is where you can start to bring in those straight demographics like gender, age, location, and you can do that by seeing what's emerged out of your answers to those questions. Then your next step, once you've got that, is to create a bio for this person. So a bio would be something like they would have on their website referring to them, or maybe on their LinkedIn profile, a little snippet of who they are, what's important to them, and kind of what they're out to achieve in the world. So you actually create this bio for them. Once you have this bio, then you can start to get more granular. So put a name on this person, put things like their age, their location, maybe even a picture would be helpful. And remember, this can be an actual person. So if you know somebody that is your ideal client, actually use this person. That's totally fine. Now, the question that I usually get and where people get hung up here is it feels very limiting. So it's like, okay, I've got this one person, but what about so-and-so? And what about so-and-so? Just because you have identified and defined this ideal client doesn't mean you can't serve other people. It just means that you're creating kind of a box to play in. So some clients are gonna be exact matches for you, hopefully, and they are gonna be your ideal client. And some clients are gonna be a little bit off, but mostly, especially when it comes to those psychological demographics, they're gonna fit. So I would say what is more important is less around those straight demographics, those being fits, but the psychological demographics being fits. So things like, what are their problems that they're wanting to solve, their challenges? What do they want to achieve? If those are exact matches for you, then great. You're likely going to be able to serve them on a really high level, and that is a win-win. You want to be working with people that you love working with, that you get lit up about, but you also want to be doing it in a way that adds immense value to them, because you want to give, obviously, but you want them to keep coming back, and you want to create your brand and the word about you of being amazing at what you do, because you are. All right, so now it's the so what question. So you've got this amazing bio, you've got this picture of this person, you've got your ideal client, and you're excited, but so what? It actually doesn't matter unless you do something with that information. So now you get to use that ideal client to create all of your content, all of your marketing, the way you speak about your product, who you talk to about your product or service, even where you start to hang out. Knowing where your ideal clients are, both online and offline, will allow you to go and meet them and interact with them and actually share what you're all about in your products and services. Okay, now you've got it. My top tips for creating an ideal client avatar that you can really use to cater your messaging, your products, and your services, and actually make sure that you're connecting with the people that you're most inspired by and that you want to serve, and that you're going to serve on a really high level. Because it is a shame if people do not know what you're able to offer and how you're able to help them. You're doing them a disservice, and we cannot have that because your message is way too important to share. So take some time to really start narrowing this down and nail this piece, because it will allow you to amplify your message and actually get to the people that you are meant to serve. So thank you so much for being here, and don't forget, this is just one of many videos in this series around how to create a one-page business plan that you'll actually use. So if you haven't watched the rest of the videos, make sure to do that. I'll link it in the cards above. And also, don't forget, if you get stuck on any part of this plan, that is why I'm here. So head on over to my website, KristinConstable.com, and set up your complimentary goal design and strategy session with me. We will work one-on-one to work you through any part of this plan that you may be stuck on. So take me up on that offer. It's a really good one. And I hope to see you soon or hear from you very soon. Thanks again. Bye.